Hey everybody. Um, Clearly I'm not a daily vlog maker. Making these videos every day is almost impossible. I'm trying to do it more often, but I am 6 days today past total knee replacement. And so I have been a little busy, and I've found that my surgeon was a very truthful man when he said that this would be a very hard and painful recovery for about 3 weeks. Week one is almost down, and he wasn't lying. But actually, I'm doing pretty good. I've been really happy with my progress. Got a physical therapist who doesn't mind, um, you know, executing as much pain as is needed every session. I just got back from one of those, so I'm sitting down and resting, which gives me time to do this video. Uh, but no, I've had really good people with me, and good family support, and I'm getting through it, and I'm going to be very happy when this is done to be able to get past this knee business. But there's a video that's been stirring around my head for a couple of weeks that I wanted to make, and honestly, I can't think of a way to make it where it's not an hour long. So I'm going to try to get it in a few minutes and go from there. Wish me luck. Anyway, I've been thinking a lot about politics and values. For the last many years, there have been a lot of us who have been doing a lot of study and research into what's gone on in society, what's going on around us, how have things changed, why are they not what we want them to be, and we've learned some really hard truths along the way. Others have sat back and tried to just avoid conflict. They really don't want to know what the problems are, they just want to avoid them. They become less and less involved in people's lives. I think we've all done that because dealing with people right now is very hard. Because we've messed up the values and things along the way. But a time is coming very soon when we are going to have to face some very evil, hard truths about this country. If you've been researching it, you're ready. You're like, oh, come on, let's get this out already. Let's start fixing this. But if you haven't, you're not ready. You know you're not ready. And you'll have to face those same truths along with the rest of us. And everyone will have to face what we've done to ourselves as a society, what we've allowed to happen, what we've created by not listening to the Creator, honestly. Along this way, if you've taken up a stand, if you've taken a stand for things that you believe in, taken a strong stand. I don't believe in this, I do believe in that. I believe in God, I don't believe in gay marriage. I believe in, faithfulness in marriage, but I don't believe in, I don't know, some other thing that I don't like in society. If you take a stand on something, people don't like that. And boy, have I learned that really quickly in the last few years. Because pretty soon you find out that people don't want you to rock the boat. People don't want you to make the changes we need to get back to what we should be instead of what we are. People don't like society, but they don't want to fix it. And a lot of people will come back and say things like, I can't believe you like Trump. Well, I can't believe you don't. People will come and say, so you're one of those Bible thumpers, huh? You believe in God. Well, yes, I do. Do you believe in God? What do you believe in? How do you think we got here? Where do you think we're going? How were we created? So many questions out there. Whenever you raise a subject, whenever you broach the line that's been set in the sand these days, you get in trouble. But people will say, I don't like your politics. And I got to thinking about it. And I thought, I don't think that's the problem. I don't think people dislike your politics. I think that people don't like your values. Well, that's the first thought I had. Then I got to thinking, do they really not like my values? Or are they just not willing to stand up for those values? But they liked them when they were in place too. And I think we're getting somewhere with that. I think it's deeper than I like this or I don't like that. I think it's more facing the truth about what we do believe and what we do want, who's willing to stand up for that, who's not willing to stand up for that, and what we do about bridging the gap between the two groups of people. While the problems have been going on for a very long time, much longer than I realized, in dragging our society down to where it's become this mess that we're in. There was a time when we lived with a societal code. We had values and beliefs and morals and ethics that we held as a standard. There used to be a time when the evening news would talk about somebody that was murdered in your small town USA, and it rocked the nation. Now, what happens when you hear about, the local 6-year-old dying at the park of mysterious causes? Oh, that's so sad. What do you want for dinner? You just bypass it. You've become so desensitized to it because you don't know what to do about that 6-year-old. It is horrible, but it happens all the time, and if you dwelt on it every single day when it happened, you'd go mad. So we stopped fighting for the value that people should be able to walk down the street safe and secure, and those that will cause a change to that, those who put people in peril, should be held account for it. We've just let that go. We've let that go to the point where now they let people out of jail who've committed heinous crimes, and they go and do it again. And very few are surprised by that anymore either. We used to have values about religion. Many held a belief in God. And even if you didn't believe in God, you understood that others did, and that was an allowable belief to have. Now, if you believe in God, if you carry a Bible, if you profess your belief in your love for Jesus Christ, you can get some pretty bad behaviors in return. People will really go after you on that one. And it's interesting, the more valuable the value, the more strongly people fight against holding on to it. There used to be rules about how we treated our elders, how we treated children, how we treated each other in different work groups, like parent groups at school, or work groups at work, or societal friends in the evening when we got together for dinner and drinks. There were behaviors that were acceptable, and there were behaviors that weren't. But now, you walk down Walmart and you see some child screaming at his elderly grandmother who's just having trouble pushing the cart because he wants this toy. And the mother walking next to her is looking on her cell phone and not saying anything to the kid and just giving him whatever he wants. And you think, what happened to the values where the child was held accountable for bad behavior and the young woman took care of the older woman instead of forcing her to do the work that really belonged to her? you didn't used to let kids go out and deface property or harm each other like we do now. People used to be able to walk down the streets and it used to be pretty safe. But then now, do you walk down the streets at night by yourself? Do you walk down the streets during the daytime by yourself? How many times has it been this week that you've heard about somebody being murdered in your town or a local town or someplace close to you? I remember a time when hearing about someone dying or being murdered or being harmed to the point of death in whatever fashion really messed a society up. It shocked the city, it shocked the state, it shocked the nation sometimes. It was unacceptable, and we had to correct it, and we made sure that those that perpetrated the crime were held accountable. And we tried to take action to make sure that those things didn't happen again. Now when you're cooking dinner and you hear that a 6-year-old was killed at the park last week, you might take a minute and you go, oh my gosh, that's too bad, that's terrible. And then say, Bobby, did you do your homework? Hey, you guys, hurry up and get down here. It's almost time for dinner. And the 6-year-old's forgotten. Not because the 6-year-old isn't important, but because it's not our 6-year-old, and because if we dwelt on every individual who died in the last week, it would drive us mad at how unsafe society was. We don't want to think about that. We don't want to think about society being unsafe, children being in danger, people being so messed up that they would cause harm to other people in the most grotesque ways. But if you stand up for values, the good old-fashioned things, the things we used to believe in, the things that protected us, the things that guided us as a society, you can get in a lot of trouble nowadays. You hear, I don't like your politics, or I don't like your religion, or I don't like whatever, but what they're really saying is, I don't like your values. Except they're not even saying that. What they're really saying is, I used to have those values too, but I'm not willing to fight for them anymore because it's too hard. I can't do anything about the problem. So I'm going to shut my ears and I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to just not deal with it. And if you bring it up, you're reminding me of something I don't want to deal with, and I won't have anything to do with you. I mean, that's really the story, right? We don't want to admit the things that are wrong. We don't want to fight the fights that justify that, yes, you can find something wrong with a homosexual marriage or a wife beater or somebody who kills a child or somebody who does drugs or any number of things. You can have values that go against what society wants, and instead of people standing beside you and saying, you know, that's right, we got to get back on that, take care of it, fix it, people are like, keep your mouth shut, don't offend people, they have the right to do what they want, they have the right to free thinking and free choice and all of these other things. Well, okay, fine. Then the murderer had the free choice to kill the 6-year-old. You know, the 15-year-old kids who went to the movie and ended up in the back having sex. Well, when she comes pregnant, then, you know, don't get on her because she had the right to free think, and, you know, she's 15 years old, and now you shouldn't say anything about it, so just go with it because, you know, there shouldn't be any morals about when you date, how you behave when you're on a date, how, you know, what you do at certain age-appropriate levels in relationships. And don't tell me, for heaven's sake, that I should be married, because I have the right to choose whether I'm married or not. Don't tell me if I should act a certain way if I'm pregnant. I have the right to kill a baby if I want. And nobody wants to stand up to those people. In every study, these people are minorities in society. People don't want to kill babies. People don't want to let children do drugs. People don't want to have the schools teaching them really crazy things about all kinds of subjects. People want the good old days where there was a standard, where there was a code, where there was a value, where there was a moral. People do want God back in society. Maybe not everybody, but we're just about to get to a point where you're not going to be able to use the excuse that you don't want to get involved, that you don't want to be a part of it, you don't want to know about it, you just want to sit back and let them be them and me be me. You can't do that. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. When the truth comes out, you're going to have to accept the fact that our society has declined to the point that we haven't even known what the hell's been going on for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Things that we thought we knew were a lie. And so when somebody says to you, I don't like what you think, it's probably not about your politics. It's probably not about your religion. It's probably more about that person's reluctance to stand up for the things that they know are right. Well, it's a very hard thing to be a warrior for a cause. You have to stand for something. You have to believe in it with all your heart. You have to fight like you've never fought before. And I would say that if you're fighting for the right values, you understand that you're not the one doing the fighting at all, but that you're allowing God to use you to accomplish His purpose. So when all this goes down, yes, we're going to have riots and economic problems and violence and wars and rumors of wars and the whole lot of it. But you're also going to come to a reckoning with yourself. Because now you're going to know it's out there. Now you're going to be held responsible for it. Now you're going to have to say that I had a part to play in this. By keeping my mouth shut, by shutting up others who disagreed with me, by staying out of society when I could have been involved and stopped something that was wrong. We got a lot to face in the next few days, weeks, months, years. And it's coming. And I've been out of the news cycle for a couple weeks because of this knee, and I know that there's just information exploding all over the world. It's incredible. But I felt so lost because I didn't know what was going on, and I was separated from the truth. And I'm eager to get back to it and find out where we're at and see where we're going, because we've got a crazy ride ahead of us. And I hope that when you look at the person across from you and you say, boy, I don't like their politics, you might stop before you say that and consider, is it their politics or their values I don't like? And do I really not like them, or do I just not want to defend them? Am I willing to stand up like they're doing and fight the good fight? Or am I going to sit at home and I'm going to hide, take the easy way out, and not face life at all because it's too hard? We can make things better again. I say we do it. But good heavens, stand together. Stand together. Have the right. Take your right to care about others seriously. And do it. Value others before yourself. Value others before your argument or your hatred or your hurt. Hang in there, everybody. It's going to be a tough ride. Probably harder than knee surgery, I would imagine. Can't even make a funny joke about some of this stuff. But I love you guys. You guys hang in there. Think about it. Get prepared. I'll talk to you later. Have a good evening.